as soon as I had this vision of wanting to relaunch my podcast and the message I really wanted to put out about empowering women to really own who they are, be unapologetic about what they want in life, and really step into what makes them so unique and what makes them them, I knew that I wanted to have Lauren Bair come on the podcast. So I'm excited to have you here because I've really witnessed and watched you over the last 4 years, I would say, do exactly that. And I know it is so inspiring for many women out there because it's so easy in today's world for us to hide behind our phones, to put these filters on, to mask who we really are. And I love just how much you step into you and own that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So a little bit about me. I'm Lauren Bair. Feel like I have a little background of everything. So I'm a registered nurse and I own my own injection company called Buff Beauty. So Botox, fillers, anything aesthetics related. I also am a fitness coach with my husband, Dylan. He's a registered dietitian and we own Bair Aesthetics together. So we're always doing online coaching. And that's honestly like a really, really big focus. And over the time and within the last couple of years, we really realized that that fitness realm can only really take you so far. And we wanted to have an even bigger reach for just a different type of community and bringing like-minded individuals together that are very in tune with manifesting and their spiritual side. And we launched a clothing company called Manifested. So Manifested has anything from empowerment clothing, but not only that, I've fallen into the realm of spiritual psychic readings. So that's incorporated into that. So those are like really the big things that we're always focusing on.
Yeah. So let's go back a little bit because I want to hear about your journey with getting to where you're at today. I imagine that at some point in your life, you probably face just some peer pressure from others or other people's opinions because I see you as taking maybe a non-traditional route with even just leaving bedside nursing and going all in on entrepreneurship, starting your own businesses, getting into the bikini, like bodybuilding world, as well as going on TV and like opening up your relationship and those. I'm sure that you've probably had some pushback with people. And I want to talk about and just help us understand like how you got to where you're at today and being so strong in who you are and not letting that stuff kind of get to you.
Yeah. It's funny, like in high school growing up, I definitely could admit I was somebody that cared so much about what other people thought. Like I would literally make my decisions based off of what somebody was going to say. And this was something that I've honestly carried into probably throughout college, maybe even a little bit after that. And so meeting my now husband, Dylan, he's really helped me kind of step into that a little bit more of just not caring so much about what people think. But I think really what started it, so backtrack, in 2017, I got my first bedside nursing job, and I loved it. I was in the NICU, so taking care of neonatal babies, being with these incredible families, and really feeling like I had this impact and this playing a part in these little infants' lives. It was really, really cool. But something just didn't feel right or sit right. At the same time, I was taking on fitness clients and helping out my husband grow Bair Aesthetics, our fitness team. And with that, I had this different role in somebody's lives where, I could be at home, I could do phone calls, I could do FaceTimes, I could be touching so many other people's lives in a more controlled setting and not like putting too many hours into it as well. Like, so doing bedside nursing and coaching, I knew that there was something there. Like, I loved nursing. That's what I went to college for. That was a lot of time and money invested in that. But once I transitioned, something just felt right to fully take a step back from that. And I knew I could have an even bigger reach by fully putting full focus on coaching and working from home and like falling into the entrepreneurial side of things. And I'd say that it was during that time where I really had that shift of not caring so much about what people thought. That was the first pushback I ever got. When I put in that 2 weeks notice at the hospital. I mean, there was ladies there in their 40s, 50s, 60s that have done nursing their whole entire life. I'm a new grad, bedside for 2 years, already putting in my 2 weeks because I wanted to do something different. And nobody understood. Everybody was like concerned. My mom was concerned. She's like, you went to college for this. Are you sure you really want to drop that and do something different? But I don't know. I'm big on intuition. Something really told me that there was going to be a lot more taking a step back from bedside and going more onto that entrepreneurial side, and finally like not letting those people's opinions. I'd say that was the beginning of me not caring as much.
For sure. I can so relate, because very similar when I was teaching and I decided to step into coaching full time and move across country, my parents weren't supportive. I mean, my mom begged and begged and begged me to stay teaching, to hold my credentials, even offered to pay. Like, that's how bad she wanted to do it. And ultimately, she didn't believe that I was going to be able to make this work. And at the time, I didn't realize it was maybe intuition at all. But looking back, I mean, something kept telling me, like, you need to do this. You need to do this for you. And I remember keep asking myself too, like, in the long run, what is going to make me so happy? And I also know that I was thinking, if I don't do it, I'm always going to wonder what if. And that's something I tell coaches all the time when it comes to going all in on their business, is that you either can do it and give it a shot, or you're going to constantly be thinking about it. And that overthinking is going to kill your mindset and your drive.
Yeah. And I feel like it's truly our soul's purpose. We all have a purpose on this planet. And I think a lot of it has to do with like where we may end up, and it may not be our full potential. It's generational. You know, it's easy for our parents to not really understand. You have to look at it. There's so many entrepreneurs now. It's like it's becoming so much more accepted.
For sure.
I feel like, but that's because I think more and more people are realizing it doesn't need to be the status quo, or it shouldn't be. You know, working a 9 to 5, going to college. There's definitely so many more unnatural or just different ways to get to your end goal.
And change is really the only constant thing in life. And the more that you reject that change and you try to hide it and you try to ignore it, the more unhappy you're going to become.
100%. I couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah. I also can really relate in the sense that when I think about just me becoming who I'm at today, that step to start my business and to face that fears, that really, it helped me build almost this muscle inside of me to slowly, and I'm sure you've watched me over the years too, like slowly start to care less and less what others think, and be able to just be true to what makes me happy. So much to the point that now I'm planning my wedding, and to be transparent, you know, my family, there was some drama. They didn't understand. I'm not doing a traditional wedding at all. And there was definitely some pushback. So much my dad even threatened to not come if I didn't.
Been there. My dad didn't, so I get it.
I did invite people, and some people might, you know, not agree with what I'm about to say, but that's okay. It's like, I didn't really let that bother me at all. I was like, you know what? This is my wedding, and I'm going to do what makes me happy.
And you should. I mean, at the end of the day, it is your day. Even this doesn't even need to come down to just wedding, but just who you surround yourself with in general. Like, if there's somebody that isn't in support of you or is trying to make you feel a certain way for the choices that you're making, like, F that. Like, you want to surround yourself with like-minded people that are going to support you and encourage you and want to see you thrive, even if that means that it's untraditional. So I'm so glad that you're doing an untraditional wedding, because that's exactly how we did. And at the end of the day, you want to be fully happy and have all those amazing memories to walk away with.
And like both of us were saying, you guys, it gets easier. So the more that you start being true to who you are and what you want in life, and you start learning to say no to others and yes to yourself, the easier and easier it does become. And I'm sure you can relate even with going on reality TV and opening up your marriage. I would love to hear, like, did you get any pushback from family with that, or even friends?
So I won't lie, it was a very interesting experience. So the opportunity came to us a couple years ago, and, you know, it was these producers looking for couples or partners that were interested in potentially opening up their relationship and inviting somebody else in. And Dylan and I definitely didn't have much of a history with that. You know, we did at one point open it up with somebody and realized there's something there a lot more deeper than what I ever would assumed. So we really went in, though, as like into the unknown. And without a doubt, we, since returning from that and now obviously being able to talk about the show and having it come out, we have definitely received some pushback. And I'll tell you right now, if this was the me a couple years ago that had that opportunity come my way, there is no way I would have said yes to doing that because I really did care so much about what people thought. But at the end of the day, I know that that type of love and non-monogamy really makes myself the most happy person and like self-fulfilled person. And I know Dylan can say the same for him. So if we're going to get pushback, which we've lost friends from going on to this TV show. We've had family members comment some very nasty things on our post on like social media and then talking to our other family members. And that's not easy.
No.
But then at the end of the day, we have never been so happy. Yeah. And it's just the universe is allowing the right people to stay in our life and weed out the ones that most likely shouldn't be in our lives.
I love that. And I'm sure you're going to relate and agree with me that I do feel the more that you step into this, the more that you realize that people don't have to understand. Yeah. And I'm done trying to convince them to understand. That's been a lot with my family. Even with my fiance, he's really active and into the cannabis world and he loves cannabis. And my family does not understand it at all. And I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't care. Like, you don't need to understand. I just want some love and respect. But if you can't do that, then it does show you like who's meant to be in your life and who's not.
Right. I'm really big on education. So if that gives you the opportunity, which I'm sure it has, educate your family members or friends a little bit. And then leave the floor from there. Yeah. If they want to accept that or not, so be it. And the biggest thing, just like that's how you are. You put that energy out into the world, which I love about you. Even if somebody doesn't accept you or doesn't understand you, you still are giving them the utmost kindness and respect and not treating them any differently. And at the end of the day, that's how it should be.
Yeah, you know? For sure. And just showing them too that you're not going to let that affect you. Like that's a big thing that I've really worked on over the years. It's not letting things affect me like it used to and continuing to show that positive energy because I know that hopefully with doing that, it will help open some people's eyes to things.
And at the end of the day, that's really what we can do. So with you educating people in the cannabis industry, with us educating people for fitness or polyamory. Like, I think that's why we're here. And that's what our purpose is. It's to show people there are so many untraditional ways and keep doing that because you could really be impacting somebody's life
for sure
in a positive way. Somebody that doesn't have that knowledge or have that support, you could be that support system for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that you guys created an entire business around manifesting. So I'd love to hear, because I do feel in everyone's eyes, the word manifesting, the meaning can kind of vary a little bit. So I want to hear like what it means to you and maybe even share a time that you really witnessed yourself being able to manifest something.
Yeah. So right away, Manifested came from the creation of Bair Aesthetics, our fitness team. Yeah. So, of course, this is a little bit of a backstory of Dylan. Yeah. But he started Bair Aesthetics when he was an undergrad in college. He was going to school to become a dietitian because the fitness realm, there are so many fitness coaches. Yeah. Not a lot of them have the educational background. Yeah. So that was something that really drove him to start his baby. And he knew that he played a special role in the fitness and bodybuilding industry that wasn't out there yet or tapped into. Yeah. You know, there's so many coaches, a lot of meal plans and bro bodybuilding. Oh,
yeah. I've had some of those.
As did I. I think Q Dylan dropped in my life. Yeah. And a lot of people are unaware. So he knew that, like, he's always just been a very motivated person and knew that this team was going to be so much more than just an average local team. It was going to be something worldwide and family. Yeah. Exactly. So he really is like a walking definition of manifesting what you want. And so I guess my definition of manifest, because it is a very loaded term. Yes. You hear people using it left and right. Yeah. My version of manifesting is creating a future that you want and doing anything and everything to work towards that. Yes. So knowing it's not going to happen overnight, but the more that you're thinking about that end goal and working for that end goal, it's going to happen. Yeah. And putting any of that effort into anything will lead you to that end goal.
Absolutely. Taking that aligned action, ultimately believing. A time that I really was like, holy cow, did I just freaking manifest this?
Yeah.
And you might remember this actually. It was my 30th birthday. So prior to my 30th birthday, it was 2021. So right with COVID, I wanted to buy a house and the market was insane, right? It was very, very competitive at that time. And I found this land where you could build a house and I loved it. I knew like this is what I wanted, but it was a lottery. So it was kind of a luck of a draw. I remember my realtor kept telling me, Megan, you need to find some other houses. And I'm like, no, I'm going to get this house. And I kept actually writing it in my journal that I'm going to get this house. It's going to be near my 30th birthday. Like I'm going to get it. And I kid you not, you guys, on my exact 30th birthday, May 4th, I get an email being like, your name was selected. You got the land to build the house. And I was like,
it's the best feeling, right? Like you're fully working towards that, or you feel it in your soul, your gut. That's where the best place to start
For
is
sure.
that gut feeling. You knew that was destined for you. So it's just a matter of not letting one situation deter you away from that.
For sure.
But keep putting in everything. And I love that. I totally remember that. And I'm sure that was because oh my gosh, the real estate during that time. It was stressful.
It was.
Like I felt for you during that time because we lucked out thankfully a little bit before that. But I mean, look at you now.
It all freaking worked out. And, you know, I also realized that when I've wanted to manifest something or there's something I want, I'm also just trusting that it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. So it doesn't necessarily always happen that timeline, but that's because it's not meant to, you know?
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason and everything happens in divine timing.
Yeah.
And that's actually something that I feel like has really opened up the doors to a lot of opportunity for myself and for Dylan too. I truly feel that if something's not happening when you're hoping it is, it's really not supposed to be. So it makes any of those maybe more low moments a little bit better or like more secure, knowing like it's happening for a reason. And I think a lot of us, it's easy to think about like the what ifs or what can happen in the future. A lot of us don't live in the now. And I really think that that's a really big reminder to fully just be in the moment, take it all in and focus on what's going on now because you're not supposed to be thinking about what's happening down the road.
Absolutely. I have to say that my word for the year is present. That was my word because I knew that, you know, 2024 is going to be one of the best years of my life. I knew that we were getting married. We're going to also try to start for a family, just relaunching this podcast, like lots of business plans as well. And I really wanted to fully try to embrace the right now and enjoy this moment and all these memories that we're going to make, especially with wedding planning. I'm sure you get this all the time. I just hear so many people are like, oh, can't you not wait for the wedding? Or like, are you stressed or that? And I'm like, of course I'm excited, but I'm enjoying the right now.
Exactly.
I'm going to be present right now, and I'm definitely not going to be stressing.
No, and that's, oh my gosh, I wish more people would go into wedding planning like that. That's exactly how we were. I think I told you this. The only time there was stress was when we were doing like, because we eloped and then we did a reception later on with everybody. And so it was like when the family was involved for a little bit of
I
that
can
stress.
relate to that.
Yes, that's where the stress started coming in. I'm like, so we didn't deal with this in our elopement at all.
Yeah.
But that is like the best thing to focus on. And I think that's really where like anxiety and stress comes from. It's because we get so in our heads and caught up about what do I need to be doing here now at this time and this year? Like if we're focusing on the moment, it's so much easier to just ground yourself.
Sure.
Grounding is so important just to really slow down, connect, and not miss out on all the fun things that are happening right now.
Yeah. I think another thing that plays a massive role in anxiety and stress is that we overthink and we care what other people's are thinking, which oftentimes results in us not being our true selves, not being authentic to who we really are and the things that we really want in life.
Yeah. You know, one thing I've learned about being your authentic self and not caring what anybody thinks about and just fully making yourself happy, when you're finally putting that energy out into the universe, that is when the right things are attracted to you and life starts aligning.
Yeah.
The craziest opportunities, the crazy moments, I'd say truly when I started fully accepting who I was.
Yeah.
And I actually learned even more about myself through the TV show.
Yeah. Like
that was the best experience that I could have ever done for myself without even knowing it. you don't know what you're getting yourself into for reality TV, but did I know I was going to be going through a legit ego death, like stripping of who I thought I was and realizing who I actually was and what I wanted?
Yeah.
I had no idea that was going to happen. But I think that opportunity came our way because we were being our true authentic selves and admitting to that without caring what anybody thinks.
And even if you did do it and you recognize that it wasn't for you guys, that you learned something from that.
Right.
You learned something from that. So I love that you guys took that risk, that leap of faith, and you're here today.
Yeah.
And with every episode, something I want to do is wrap things up with a positive takeaway. But I figured for you, since you're really in tune with spirituality and with manifesting, let's leave everyone with a positive takeaway with that.
Yeah. One thing that I can send everybody off with is that you can create life how you want to. And whether that means it's untraditional, whether that means it's not what your friends do, start attracting what your purpose is and what you're meant for. So whether that means manifesting, whether that means surrounding yourself around new people, find people that are going to support you through whatever it is that you put your heart to. And at the end of the day, you're going to be the happiest version of yourself that you ever have been.
And life is so short, you guys.
So
that
short.
If you're not happy, like, what is the point of living,
Exactly.
right? Like,
give me all the good vibes, all the fun times. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Solely remember that.
One of my favorite sayings that I remind myself all the time is that it is not happening to me, but it is happening for me. So no matter what I'm facing, I always remind myself and remember, like, it is happening for me. I might not know in the moment why, but down the road, I will absolutely know.
Exactly. I'm going to take that away too. I love that. Yes. That was beautiful.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you so much.